Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. This is Living Well Darkness, Camarilla, New York, and the scene is Queens. The two new Bruger neonates are meeting for a business deal. Ghost is parked up in an alleyway with her motorcycle, and she's waiting for the arrival of Limey, or as she knows him.
It's a relatively mild night, I expect. Queens is, well, usual. There are a few people milling around, but it's not a very busy part of town. Limey's pretty low key, so he won't decide to meet anywhere particularly busy. As Ghost waits, she'll see I suppose, traditionally relatively handsome young-looking man, kind of shamble around the corner. He kind of slopes. His shoulders are kind of hunched, and he's carrying a briefcase, and in his other hand he holds a cigarette. As he slopes around the corner, he sees Ghost, and he raises an eyebrow and pulls his hat down lower on his head, and shambles over to her.
She's not really making any attempt to hide herself. She's wearing like a vest top and jeans. She has all these tattoos and bright white mohawk. She stands out wherever she is, and she's got sort of an air of menace about her. She's quite an intimidating character to be around, but she fixes the new arrival with a smile.
Limey kind of gives his best impression of a smile, which kind of twitches his mouth, So
she holds out her. She's holding out her hand.
Limey takes it and gives it a firm shake, noting to himself how cold her grip is.
She's actually warm to the touch.
Oh, really?
When you touch her. And she has a natural, fleshy glow.
In that case,
doesn't look pale.
She might notice how cold his hand is. He's quite pale, quite dark bags underneath his eyes, but he looks human. He looks vaguely human. He's blooded up, so.
If she does notice, she doesn't seem to react.
Okay. So, you're, what do they call you? Ghost or something?
Yep, that's me. She flays her hands in a gesture, dramatically, but comically at the same time.
Limey kind of smiles. Limey. Now, do you want to go somewhere a little bit more private? I prefer not to count money in public.
Sure. She reaches behind her, and it looks like a cardboard box. When she knocks on it, it turns out to be a door. The door slides open, and she ducks inside.
How big is this hole? Is it like just sort of a hole in the wall kind of thing?
It's a sort of standard doorway size. You may have to duck a little bit, depending on how tall you are.
He kind of shrugs and quickly brushes the shoulder of his suit and walks inside.
The door closes behind you, and you're in a room it's sort of like it's one of those like back rooms of a bar, just like a concrete basement type thing with a table in the middle, beer bottles, mattresses on the floor. Looks like a couple of people here sleep here or stay here, but there's no one here at the moment apart from you and her.
Okay, cool. Limey kind of sticks his free hand in his pocket and looks around. So, you gonna ask me to sit down, or
Sure.
you gonna do the ceremony?
Well, I'm pretty sure you don't. Big boy like you doesn't need me to tell you what to do. But she moves over to the table and sits down, pulls the chair around backwards and straddles it.
Naomi kind of shuffles over to a seat, pulls it out, sits down, kind of relatively erect but kind of casual. He puts the briefcase on the table. So do you want to see the goods then, or
Yes, I would.
he rolls his thumbs over some combination locks, and there's a click as the briefcase pops open. He pulls out a switchblade from his inside pocket, pops it open, cuts one of the bags, and then turns it to face Ghost and pushes it towards her.
She sort of examines it for a moment, and looks as if she's about to taste test it, but instead puts a tiny pinch of it between her fingers and looks at it very closely. I'm going to roll streetwise.
Yeah. Oh god, I forgot how to use this dice function.
You basically click on it, and it comes up on the screen if you're using a camera.
There we
But
go.
it just takes ages to load, which is my bugbear with it.
Yeah, mine's loading right now. There we go. Accept.
Perception streetwise. Right. I've got 2 successes because the 1 takes away the 10.
Yeah.
Is it genuine or?
Yeah. I mean, it's don't get me wrong. You know, we're not talking Colombia's finest here, but it's cocaine. It's your usual kind of street standard cocaine.
Okay. She smiles and reaches inside a pocket on the side of her trousers.
Mhm.
We agreed 4, right? She takes out. It's quite a lot. I mean, a briefcase is quite a lot of cocaine.
Yeah, it's don't get me wrong. It's not packed out to the nines. It's a few bags, but it's not.
If it was like Colombian grade, I'd be giving you like $10,000,
Yeah.
maybe 15. But she counts out, like she brings out a roll of dollars and then slides the roll in your direction.
Sort of catches it on the table and looks at it, and he thumbs through to make sure that it's all there. But you don't need finance to count money, do you? So I don't need
No, it's real money and it's all there.
Pleasure doing business with you, Ghost. He pulls out a money clip and pushes the roll inside, then slips it into his inside pocket. Yeah, he closes the switchblade, but he keeps it on the table.
She closes the briefcase and picks up her mobile phone, looks at you first as if to say, "Don't worry, it's fine." Presses a number which speed dials, and she doesn't say anything. The person answers and goes, "Okay." And then a door on the other side of the room opens, and a little short, grubby-looking guy comes out, takes a briefcase, and walks out. Sort of go, she's going, "Get to work, get on with it." You can hear him on the other side of the door talking to a couple of other people, presumably distributing the drugs to various mules to take it over to different parts of the city.
So this is your gaff then? What, you do business here?
Well, it's one of the charming holes that I like to frequent. Yeah, I don't really have a steady place of residence.
No? You should look into getting one. Apparently we live in dangerous times, or so they tell me.
If we live in dangerous times, it's probably better not to have a steady place of residence, don't you think?
Yeah, I suppose that depends on how well you keep it hidden.
So, did you meet our late Primogen?
Late?
You haven't heard.
Man, ever since I got to this city, I haven't heard anything. Nothing. Considering it's New York, nothing.
He's dead.
Oh, I mean, that's terribly sad.
He's dead. The sheriff is missing.
The sheriff's missing.
Yeah.
Go figure, I only met that bloke the other day.
I think we were in a bit of a shitstorm. I wanted to be sheriff, but not quite this quickly. I was going to take about 20 years to work on that.
I never really warmed up to the idea of being a sheriff or a scourge or anything like that. They're far too dangerous for my liking. Too in the public eye, you know, I guess I prefer to be a lurker.
Oh, I can understand that.
But in that case, where does that leave the Camarilla? I mean, from what I understand, there are other Bruiser in the city, but I haven't heard anything from them. But I
What?
did see that little leaflet, the Anarch
Yeah,
rack.
little leaflet. Oh, they'll always be around trying to stir up trouble when the lines are weak. You know what the anarchs are like, I'm sure.
Well, I thought the Camarilla was meant to be the strength in this city. I didn't even think the Sabbat were that much of an issue.
From what I understand, that was my impression as well when I decided to come over here from London. But
Oh, you came from London too?
yeah,
Oh, whereabouts?
whereabouts? I spent a lot of time in Nosferatu.
Huh, nice. We always had a little soft spot for the Nosferatu and the Bruiser, I suppose. I was Brixton myself.
Must look a bit suspicious that the new Bruiser are both British.
Yeah.
But I don't suppose the Yanks mind too much.
I think the Yanks have got plenty of their own troubles.
But our trouble is that we have 3 dead Primogen in the last 2 months, and no sheriff, and an island full of Sabbat, which I think we should probably do something about.
Well, the only issue is we don't embrace War Child as the Sabbat do. I
I
mean,
wasn't thinking about that.
has the Prince said anything? I mean, I haven't even heard the geezer's active.
I haven't seen him.
Right.
I mean, we could have all sorts of vampires running about the town by now before the prince checks up on people.
Well, maybe he should pull his finger out.
Maybe.
Listen, I don't know about you, but for the past couple of weeks, all I've been doing is building up my various contacts and influences within the city. I'm thinking maybe we want to start putting them to some good use. Maybe we can find some stuff out. Do you know anything about the Sabbat?
A little.
Yeah?
I don't tend to get too close.
No, neither do I, but I'd rather know about them before they know about me.
From what I understand, they don't really have any qualms about showing the human world what they are, which is a very dangerous thing for everyone.
Yeah, certainly. I just thought it was incredibly short-sighted. You know, it's that whole concept of, oh, well, the humans are our cattle and we are their gods on Earth. I understand that and I can see the glamour, but maybe you want to wait until after you've overthrown humankind to start revealing your true nature, because that's how our Inquisitions start.
they sort of miss out the fact that, you know, whilst we may have powers and shit like that, but we're still a minority and we're still a weaker factor. I don't really want people knowing who we are or what we are. But, especially because if the vampires start talking, then the werewolves might come out, and then if the werewolves are pissed with us, then we're basically fucked from all angles.
Oh, oh, that's an interesting thought. Werewolves. What do you reckon we might be able to feed them some information? They hang out in Central Park. All I need to do is get a runner.
Why would you want to go and feed the werewolves any information?
Not about us.
In general, I don't know how. In my experience, they're not very vampire friendly.
No, they're not, which is why, I mean, I personally would never meet a werewolf face to face because I don't have a death wish. But if we can tell them where a Sabbat hangout is, they say it's always better to turn a werewolf against your enemies.
Maybe. I think I'd like to meet up with the other bruiser and discuss it first.
Yeah, well, that's proving pretty difficult. You met any of them yet?
Only Dr. Sensible.
Doctor Sensible. That's what I thought. Not gonna lie, the bloke seemed okay, but well,
Yeah, it's probably a good thing that he insulted me because he kind of fell into my trap.
wait,
You
what?
know, I she reaches up and she's got a very tattooed arm all the way down.
Mhm.
She gets something out of her pocket. It looks like cream, and she just sort of wipes it, and the tattoo comes away. She goes, "The problem with most vampires is that they don't adapt. They don't change. I wasn't made like this. It takes effort and time, especially this mohawk. It's a bitch to shave in. But
You do this stuff every night.
yeah,
How long does it take you to draw that tattoo on?
not long, not now. Been doing it for about 15 years.
Yeah, I suppose.
The thing is, if people underestimate the bruiser, they think, oh, the bruiser, you know, they're so full of shit. All they want to do is take drugs and drink blood and fight each other. So that's what they think. But
Nothing could be further from the truth.
if you let them think that, and they carry on underestimating you, you can pull the wool right over their eyes. I've been doing that for 60 years. Trust me, my friend. It's the way to go.
Man, I don't know, I've been around since the 50s. If there's one thing I've learned, it's as a bruiser, people are going to make a lot of assumptions about you, but I don't know, like you said, play to those assumptions to a degree. I don't know, how to put it. I was never really into the whole rabble thing. I mean, yeah, sure, playing to the assumption works, but it's hard to make a deal with a Toreador when you've got a Mohican and tattoos, no offense.
Ah, me and Mr. Peck got on pretty well.
Oh, you've met with the Toreador. Nice.
Yeah, he seemed to like my attitude. Or my tits, I'm not sure which. Probably both.
Nah, at the end of the day, yeah, they're all base creatures. Personally, uh, I never tried to let the snares of a woman entrap me, even if they are very nice snares.
Oh, I don't I don't do other beings, whether they be human or vampire. I didn't when I was alive, and I don't now.
But when you're alive,
No.
man, next to next to Vitae, I can still remember those human sensations. When I was getting laid, I was fucking king of the world. Of course, it doesn't even touch the sides now. The only time I do it is to try and feed.
Let's just say I had other passions.
And out of interest, what would those passions have been?
Maybe I'll tell you sometime when we
Hmm.
know each other a little better.
Get to know me better. This
For
ghost is.
now, I think that we should try and find out, draw out our brethren. She makes air quotes.
Brethren.
And try and work out what to do about this Sabat problem. Because while the city's unstable, our influence is going to be unstable too.
I'm not much a fan of that idea. Listen, I hear most of the older vampires, kindred, kindred. I can still make that mistake. Most of the older kindred are around Manhattan these days. I was thinking about using some of my contacts in Harlem, see if I can root some of the older boys out.
Not a bad plan.
What about you? What are you gonna do?
I might go and see if I can get some Anarch bait.
Anarch bait.
The Anarchs like me. I don't like them, I think they're dicks.
Mm,
But they seem to like my look.
I can imagine. Yeah, it
So
does fit the bill, doesn't it?
I've already been approached.
You've been approached
So if,
already.
so if I can play along and get them to come with me, I might be able to use them as bait to lure out the Sabat.
Oh well, that's the one thing about anarchs, isn't it? They can kind of jump between the different sides.
I'm pretty sure some of them already are.
All I'm saying is that we want to be careful. If they're taking Primogen out, that means they've got some information. We need to get some information too. What would you say the best route of investigation was? I haven't been in the city very long. You know where this about hangout?
Staten Island.
Staten Island. Do you know which areas of influence they operate in?
No, I haven't got that far yet. We have to do a little bit more digging.
Do you know anyone who's met with this about?
No.
How
But
can the bat be one step ahead of a group of Camarilla kindred?
because we're not as organised as they are. That's the simple truth.
Yeah, maybe we would be if the Primogen pulled their fingers out. And that Dr. Softly guy, he talked a good fight, but he didn't seem to be interested in making any kind of connection with the other Bruges or any kind of meeting. He seemed far, far too interested in talking about his coterie and his heroic actions.
Well, yeah.
Maybe the
He's
Bruges
dead
need
now, we don't have to worry about it. Don't have to hear his voice anymore, thank God.
I've got an idea. I operate out of a little jazz bar in Queens. Been thinking about making some of my boys a little bit more visible in the area, maybe throwing up a couple of the clan symbols, see if it attracts any attention.
Hmm. I think
Yeah.
I think the meeting with the adults should be our first step.
Well, if you already know him, would you mind setting that up? I'd love to come
No, it
along.
won't be a problem.
Pardon?
It won't be a problem.
Well, look, if you can set it up, then I'd be interested in meeting him and having a chat. You know, maybe we're two disillusioned young Camarilla vampires looking for something new.
Leaving a sinking ship.
Hmm, good cover.
Great cover.
Then it's agreed. Ghost, if you want to set the meeting up, I will give you my number. And he pulls out a scrap of paper from his pocket. And he writes his number down and slides it across the table. Simultaneously, he picks up the switchblade and puts it back in his pocket with a kind of a sheepish look on his face.
She doesn't seem intimidated by the switchblade.
No, he's conscious of that.
She flicks out. She reaches inside what seems to be her bra and flicks out a white card that says "The Ghost Watches" on one side, and then it has a telephone number on the other.
The Ghost Watches. Sounds like a movie.
It has a ring to it.
Well, Ghost, it has been an absolute pleasure to meet with you this evening. I hope to see you
Likewise.
soon. I don't know, like I said, I'll put my boys out and that kind of thing. I'll see if I can get some information about Staten Island, about what goes on there. I'll let you know if anything comes up.
Be in touch, won't you?
You too. Take it easy, Ghost. Now, which cardboard box, right? Yeah.
She walks over to the door and pulls on like a lever, and the door opens onto the street again.
Take it easy, Ghost.
You too.
Yeah, he slides out, kind of sticks his hands in his pockets, and kind of shuffles out into the night with the money in his pocket, obviously.
And as the cardboard door slams shut, the scene ends.